Challenge is back. Probably one of our favorite reality TV shows just because, like, yeah, we love Survivor, but The Challenge is like Survivor on crack. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think you probably like Survivor. Like it probably for you, if I had to guess, is Survivor one, Challenge two, and
Yeah.
for me it's flipped. It's Challenge then Survivor.
I mean, Survivor to me is getting kind of like repetitive, if you know what I mean. But like The Challenge, there's always a new twist. Like they don't really use the same challenges over and over. Like, yeah, they have their like staples, but like it's the drama for me and like the repeating storylines. Because like in this season, we have the Battle of the Eras. So it's like you have the Laurel and Cara Maria drama, you have the Polly and Theo drama. We have like things that we've seen like carry out throughout challenge
Yeah,
history. It's
and
40 seasons. It's 40, like it's just
to
it's
me
just pure bliss.
the reason that I put the Challenge not like miles ahead of
Yeah,
Survivor,
they're like
but
here.
they're pretty neck and neck. But the reason that I put the Challenge above Survivor is because it does what I want the Challenge to do, which is bring back the people
The
that I
Survivor.
love.
You want Survivor
Like,
to do that, not the challenge.
yeah, no, I'm saying the Challenge does that, and
Yeah.
Survivor doesn't.
Yeah.
Like we don't. I'm not saying on Survivor we need the same people every time, but every 5 seasons or so, I want an all-star season. I want Brad Culpepper back. I want Russell back.
Yeah.
I want Boston Rob, even though he's been on so many seasons. I still want him
And is
back
dipping
there.
in toe,
Like
his toe in like all reality TV
I want
at this point.
Tyson and all them.
Yeah.
Like so, the Challenge does that where it's like I know that I really like these characters and these competitors, and it's not going to be the last time that I see them.
Yeah,
So
like,
that's why I like the Challenge.
It's like
just a hair better.
You fought like just like in just and like one person's sake, Horacio. Horacio's first season was what was that season called? Ride or Dies, and then he came back for Battle for a New Champion, and now he's back for Battle of the Eras. He's like a monster competitor. He's just good.
He's good at everything.
He's not very good at the social aspect, but he doesn't really need it.
No,
it comes.
Well,
it comes in handy.
You say that he doesn't need it, but he also hasn't won yet.
Yeah,
and that's a big factor in why.
Yeah, because he's always getting down into elimination. Like his first season, he broke the records for most times going down into elimination on a single season.
Which he's eliminated a lot of people. He's
Yeah,
very good at eliminations.
He's very good at them.
But in the Challenge, if you go down in the sand, eventually it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah,
so
you go down there enough times.
You got to have the social game.
I mean, honestly, he could have won Ride or Dies if Olivia wouldn't have smacked her face.
Still, I still think about that marble or ball bearing or whatever it was, just coming back and shattering Olivia's face. That
literally shattered her face. Bro.
That was crazy.
A lot of bones in it.
But you know what? Couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
Honestly, we used to like her.
She kind of sucks.
We used to like her, not anymore. Okay, but. So this season of Survivor, it is Battle of the Eras. So it goes from the very beginning until now. So you have all of these people who are like in their 40s competing against people who are in their 20s. It's really interesting because
it's four teams. Team 1 is competitors from season 1 through 10. Season 2 is from 11 to 20 and so on and so on. And I'm not even going to say probably. I think this is easily the best all-star cast that they've ever put together.
Yeah, there's a couple people that I was like, oh, really? But like, usually it's more than, like, it's like, usually like 5 or 6. It's like, oh, they shouldn't have come back. But like this one is just like maybe one or two in the entire cast, which like these are a cast of returners.
Even the people that we don't like, I'm glad that they're back because we have somebody to root against. Like Amanda, I've never liked,
Yeah.
but I'm glad she's back because
She's easy to root against.
It's like, okay, I want to see what drama she's going to stir up and somebody's going to fight.
Yeah.
And Anissa, I've never been a big fan of. Anissa I was a fan of in the early days when she was actually a good competitor.
Now she's getting carried.
But like now she's just, it's the same. Like she has no chance of winning, but
yeah.
I'm glad she's back because she's going to stir stuff up with other people.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of history in this cast.
Olivia, I'm glad if you're going to bring Nerys back, this should be a rule for the rest of Survivor.
Challenge.
For the rest of the challenge. Sorry, we talked about Survivor earlier. If you are going to bring back Olivia or Nerys, you have to bring both of them back.
Yeah, because
that's the drama.
Everything that happened last season, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because last season it was a crapshoot, honestly.
Yeah. Olivia was in her, speaking of eras, she was in her villain era last year, and
now all of a sudden her and like Olivia and Michelle are like best friends. Like when
Michelle, you obviously know by now we're huge Survivor fans, and I was like a diehard Michelle fan.
Yeah.
Up until probably last season, I was like, all right, Michelle, I'm over
it. It was Michelle and Jay. That's when we turned against them. We were just like, wow, we do not like y'all anymore. Okay, well, let's get into the episode. First impressions of the eras right now.
My first impression is that Era 3 is absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
They have Tori, who I think is probably, in my opinion, the best female competitor there.
Yeah.
I think she's better than Laurel. I think she's better than Cara Maria. And they have Jordan, who is a top 3 challenge competitor of all time. I mean, the conversation has to be CT, Johnny Bananas, and Jordan.
And Wes.
And Wes. So he's definitely top 4. You can rank those people, kind of how you see fit.
But those 4 is like the undisputed. It's like there's no questions asked on like who's the top 4. You put them in any order, it makes sense.
But I will say this: Wes is retired.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, if Jordan makes it to the final this time, I think he surpasses Wes.
Yeah, because you can flip flop Wes and Jordan, but like now that like Wes is retired, Jordan can only grow.
Yeah,
and he doesn't look he's going anywhere.
I don't think anybody's gonna touch CT or Bananas.
No, they have way too many wins.
Yeah, Bananas has 7 championships and CT has 5.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody's touching it. How many does Jordan have? I think Jordan has 3. Maybe. But yeah, I think season 3 is absolutely stacked. I mean, they also have Leroy, who's a very good athlete.
He's in the
which we'll get into that later. He found himself
in some trouble.
In some trouble. He's going to be in elimination in this next episode. I think that surprisingly, well, maybe not surprisingly, Era 4 is very good. The problem with Era 4 is they all hate each other.
They literally hate each other.
Like, they have Horacio, who is the up-and-comer we talked about earlier. If he continues to compete, eventually he will probably be in that conversation with the top guys. And they have Jordan has 4. So yeah, he's right there in that conversation. They have very good female competitors. They have Nerys, Olivia, Michelle, which Michelle more of a political player.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how she shapes out this season because she's always been a political player and not really that great at challenges. But
Clancy, I
she-
do think it's Leroy Jenkins.
Is she? No, it's not Leroy. It's not
No.
Leroy Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins is a meme.
Yeah, he's a violinist.
Yeah, that's but no, I'm interested to see how the season goes for Michelle because she's always been the political player, but I feel like everybody's like fed up with her crap and everybody knows
No
her
one's gonna-
game now.
So
that,
she was
like,
always a political player with the rookies. She always took
she
the
had
rookies.
her like rookie army that
she had her
would,
rookie army. There's no rookies this time.
yeah.
So like she's going against people who know how to politic, who know how to compete. Like it's just she's kind of at the bottom, I feel, with all this. Like, yeah, she did well in the actual challenge, like in the challenge that we had in last episode, but you could only she could only go down at this point, in my opinion. And like with what she's doing with the selection of the nominee isn't going very well, in my opinion. But we'll get to that later.
How do you think Era 1 is gonna stack up this year?
I don't think their girls are going to do that.
They
well.
had their female side of their team is laughably weak.
Yeah, they have what's her
Their
name?
guys are okay.
They have strong guys.
They have CT, Brad, who as a fellow beard aficionado, Brad has the most epic beard, and for that reason alone, I am rooting for him.
Yeah.
Derek has always been a good competitor.
And
Mark has always
Mark.
been a good competitor. And historically, Daryl has been a good competitor, but we kind of saw him last season when he came back as one of the
champions.
As one of the champions, that he's lost his edge. Like he's not quite what he used to be. And you could probably say that about that entire team. They're not quite what they used to be.
Other than CT.
But
CT did lose.
CT
He did lose for a battle for a new champion. Against I think he went against Horacio and he lost.
Yeah, I believe it was her. No, CT won.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, he did.
Sure.
Yes. To look that up. I'm pretty sure he won. But yeah, they're not quite what they used to be, and there was even the joke like we used to party all night, now we're in bed by 9:30.
Like they were all sleeping, and then you had like everyone was out partying, and everyone in Era 1 knocked out in the room.
Yeah, but I'm interested to see how they will compete. Because even though CT did well in this challenge, CT's got a dad bod now. Obviously, look at me, nothing wrong with that. But CT was this dominant athletic force for as long as we've known him, and he's gotten older, so we'll see. Era 2, they've got Johnny Bananas, and they've probably got the most well-rounded female side.
Their female core is very good.
I mean, they have Laurel, Cara Maria. They have Emily, who's an athletic freak.
I think they have Kellyanne.
Kellyanne.
Is she on that team or is she Era 1?
No, she's Era 2. And I forget who their last female is, but they're a very good team. Maybe their guys are a little.
Their guys aren't the best.
Not outside of Bananas.
Because they have Ryan, Derek.
No, Derek is on Era 1.
Derek's on 1.
It's a lot to keep track of. There's 40 cast
people.
members this season. So
There's
if
40 people, so it's
if
very
we flip
hard.
them around, then sorry in advance. But
We'll get better. This is only the first episode. I promise we'll get better. Era 3, we talked about that a little bit, but the Tori, Devin, and Jordan combo is crazy to me.
yeah, I think that they're my pick to do the best while it's a team competition. I feel like inevitably there's going to be a team switch up. There's going to be okay, now you're playing as individuals, something like that.
Something's gonna happen because
And-
there's 40 people. They're going down to I think 36. No, that's only 4 going home. There's 8 eliminations. In the second episode, so it'll be 8 people going home, so down to 32
Yeah.
after the second episode.
I think that's my pick to run away with the team part of the competition.
Yeah,
Just because, like you said, Jordan is not only an athletic freak, one of the best competitors
he's
that we've
very
ever seen.
strategic.
Probably one of the smartest strategists in challenge history.
Along with
Devin, whose strategy is his whole thing.
he hardly ever goes down in the sand.
And then Tori, who is, like I said earlier, in my opinion, the best female competitor on the challenge, period.
She's smart. She's political. She's very, very, very athletic.
She's also very well liked by
She
most
is very
people.
well liked.
So that
But
helps.
I feel like if she keeps on winning, it'll be bad.
Yeah, probably. But I want to shout out Devin because in this let's go through what the challenge was. If we're being honest, for being the premiere episode of this season,
Kind of weak.
I feel like that challenge was a little lame. Wasn't very physical. It was just kind of boring.
But it showed how many people are very unathletic.
Yeah, and bad at puzzles.
Yeah.
So they did like a big 40 puzzle that they had to build, and then they had to get in these little like janky boats and row out to different buoys and grab lights.
CT called it a miso soup bowl.
Yeah, and then like row out, get different lights, row back, and put the lights in their slots, and then they finished. It was a little. It was long and drawn out and not super fun to watch.
Not very exciting. Like it wasn't like typical Survivor.
Yeah.
I guess it was one that was like you're gonna roll out the week, and I mean they did in a way because I mean people's boats sunk.
Which brings me to Devin, who historically very bad cardio.
Very bad at cardio.
We've seen that in multiple seasons. He's talked about it. Very bad at cardio. He sinks his boat, but he had all of his lights.
He had him strapped to
and
himself.
It was to the point that
in his life jacket.
Yeah, everybody was like starting to get concerned. They were like,
"Where's Devin?
Where's Devin? We don't even see his boat out there." Well, because his boat was at the bottom of the lake, and he just swam back the entire way. Flops like a dead fish on the shore, and then like goes and puts his lights in. He didn't win, but he didn't get last.
But he didn't lose.
On his team, so
yeah,
and Tori won. There's zero chance he's getting put into elimination, so he's not worried about it. But
yeah,
I wanted to shout him out. The guy with the crappiest cardio came through on a swim.
Yeah, because. So with that challenge, they had to go against the eras, and what it was the winners from every era gets to choose someone from their era to go down into the sand. Like they get to choose one male, one female from their era to go down into the sand. So for era 1, CT and Rachel won. That's who that 4th person was.
Yeah.
Era 2, Laurel and Bananas, no surprise there.
But I will say Laurel got first place overall.
Cara Maria was
right behind her, but they're on the same team. So Cara Maria is still in danger of getting put into elimination.
And it's very likely that she will be put into elimination because Laurel hates Cara Maria.
Yeah, which we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Tori and Corey, era 3, wasn't really surprised about that other than Jordan not winning. I was
surprised about Corey winning.
Yeah, that's like I think it was one of his first challenge ones. I think he hasn't won much. I was surprised it wasn't Jordan, but You know how Jordan is. He has a strategy for everything. He doesn't want to get be at the top at the very beginning. He knows if he plays in the middle of the pack and then jumps to the top at the end, he's solid. And then Era 4 was Michelle and Horacio. Not really any surprise there either.
I was surprised that Nerys got last on that team.
Yes. I'm honestly not surprised about. Only person I am surprised about getting last is Nerys for the losers. So the losers automatically go into elimination, and they sometimes get to choose who they go up against, but sometimes the people who get first don't let them choose. But we'll talk more about the issues with that in a second. The losers for Era 1 was Mark and Katie. Wasn't really surprised about that. Era 2, Kellyanne and Ryan, not surprised. Era 3, Nia and Leroy. Was kind of surprised about Leroy because he was supposed to be this like really good athlete, but I guess he just can't row.
I think I would not want to come up against Leroy in an elimination, especially now that we have a glimpse of what the elimination is going to be. I think it's going to be multiple different things, but very excited. Kind of upset we didn't see it in this episode.
But next episode
is going to be awesome because my favorite elimination ever, bar none, it's not even close, is Hall Brawl. Which, if you're familiar with the challenge, you know what Hall Brawl is. If you're not, it's basically 2 plexiglass walls just wide enough to fit your shoulders through most of the time. One competitor on one end, one competitor on the other. Your goal is to get through that wall, through the other person, and cross their finish line.
People get hurt.
And they're dishing out CTE in the Hall Brawl like it's a head trauma buffet. You have seen so many people, male and female, it doesn't matter, just get wrecked in Hall Brawl.
And Tori in Hall Brawl is a sight to see.
Yeah,
she won't be in it this time because she won.
That's what I'm saying is like I would not want to come up against Leroy in Hall Brawl.
Yeah. I feel like Theo would be good in Hall Brawl too. Or Mark. Like I feel like all the
Mark's
guys
big.
Yeah, all the guys but Ryan.
Ryan is gonna get absolutely destroyed.
And
he has he better hope there's a puzzle aspect to something. Yeah. Because if it's just straight up Hall Brawl, Ryan has zero chance of not getting eliminated. So
he's not gonna last long. I don't think he's gonna last long.
He might if Ryan has to compete in Hall Brawl, he might end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
That guy weighs like 80 pounds.
Yeah. So can 80 pounds.
So good luck. Godspeed.
And then Era 4 was Nerys and Theo. Michelle and Horacio told Nerys, you get to choose who you go against. And then they go into like the deliberation of like who's going in. And she was like, well, I don't want to choose. Who are the options? She's like, I don't want to choose. What's her name? The newer one.
The jacked one?
Yeah, I forget.
Because she doesn't know anything about her, and we don't know anything.
Yeah, we don't really know anything about her. She's from the Challenge World Championship, I think, which we didn't watch.
I forget who the other one was, but basically she picked Olivia.
And then Michelle was like, but she's my best friend.
Yeah,
she's to me what Horacio is to you. You're dating her?
Yeah.
Are you dating her?
That was weird.
Yeah, so, and they just became friends. Like, they just, like, last year whenever Michelle, like, put Olivia in a situation to quite literally stab Nerys in the back to send her in elimination against 2 of the strongest guys. She came back, but, however, she saw to do it.
I want to talk about the Paulie and Theo beef.
Yes.
Which, if you're unfamiliar with their beef, we haven't seen either of these competitors in a while.
Last time we saw Paulie was ride or dies whenever he was with Laurel.
Yeah, we've seen Paulie a lot more recently than we've seen Theo. But if you want to refresh their beef, they got into it one night. Huge knockdown, drag out fight. They're in each other's face. And they're to the point that they're about to start swinging on each other. And Paulie, being the how do I want to word this? He's I can't think of how he's like, you don't really know what's going on with Paulie.
Yeah, you
I'm
don't
not gonna
know
lie.
which team he plays for. If you look at him, you don't know which team he plays for.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Paulie was gay for the longest time.
I did too.
Him and Cara Maria have been dating for like 6 years, apparently. So I don't know, but he's like sexually ambiguous. Like we don't really know what's going on. But anyways, they're in each other's face, like about to swing on each other, and Paulie's like, "Come on, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?" And then Paulie kisses Theo on the lips.
Yeah.
Like mid-fight. And then like it cuts. I don't remember that happening. So this was like news to me. I'm sure I watched it way back in the day and just forgot about it. But they cut off, so I can't remember what like Theo's reaction to it was. I don't know what I would do if I was in a fight with a guy and then he kissed me on the lips. I'd be like, dude, what just happened? I need to go lay down. I need to think about what are we best friends now? Or
are you my mortal enemy?
Like, I don't know. Do I murder you now or do I buy you a drink?
I'm very confused.
Like, I'm confused. I'm gonna go lay down. We'll talk about this in the morning. But that was good, and their rivalry is heating up, and it is continuing. We don't know. We're assuming it's Paulie going into elimination because it's Theo in there. So like, yes, Clancy, I was thinking that too. Straight up, remember the Titans move, Sunshine kissing Gary Berti. He kissed me, man. So he saw that movie and did it in real life, and it was electric. But yeah, so Theo is already in elimination because he got last on his team. We're assuming because the episode ended with them two screaming at each other,
going at it
in deliberation. So we're assuming it's going to be Paulie going in to face him. And I don't know, maybe he'll kiss him in the middle of Hall Brawl.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes. That would be a very high speed peck on the lips. But Hall Brawl, I don't know. Like Paulie's like short and stocky, pretty athletic. Theo's big.
He's jacked.
Big and strong, and was a professional athlete for 10 years. What did he play? I don't remember. I know he was a professional athlete. I'm going to give the edge to Theo in this one. He's also probably got the anger of that kiss built up over the past few years. So I'm going to my money's on Theo on this one, which kind of sucks because I don't want to see Paulie get eliminated like right off the bat because he's such a character that I want to kind of see what hijinks he'll get into over the season. And Theo's kind of boring. Like, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Whenever you meet in the middle in Hall Brawl, anything can happen. What did you find? What?
No, he was just on Love Island UK.
Well, he said he was a professional athlete for Theo Campbell. He looks like a runner. He was a runner of some sort. I don't know if it was distance or sprint. He looks too big to be a distance runner.
Yeah, so maybe sprint.
I'm going to say he was like a short distance track athlete. I'm giving the edge to Theo, even though I would rather see Paulie win just to kind of see what he's gonna stir up.
We just don't know what it's gonna be.
Can I tell you one thing I don't want to see this season, which we already kind of got it in the first episode, is I do not want a whole season of the Laurel and Cara Maria show.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to get exhausting. We get it. You don't like each other. Like, I'm tired of hearing about it, personally.
And it's only in the first episode.
And yeah, that was probably like a good 25% of what the first episode was. And it's like, God, is this going to be the whole season?
But the whole thing, it's Laurel. So, like, you know how Laurel is. She holds a vendetta and
ruthless bitch.
And she likes to talk. And, like, she was like, if this gets me my 3 minutes of fame, then this gets me my 3 minutes of fame. Like, I'm going to talk bad about Cara Maria the entire time.
I've always been...
I feel like she's fueling this fire more than Cara Maria is.
From the very beginning, Cara Maria is this challenge beast now. Won 2 championships. She's very athletic now. Shout out CrossFit. That's how she got there.
Yeah.
But she used to not be that way. She used to be one of the worst female competitors. But even back then, and that's when the Laurel and Cara Maria beef started, I was always Team Cara Maria in that because I feel like Laurel is just a bully that never grew up and still acts like she's in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're like 40. Can you just chill? But actually she's like mid 40s. You're about to be, you're like grandma age at this point. Like, calm down. And she's just still like that high school bully. But I will say, like, even though I've been Team Cara Maria this whole time, like, I don't want that to be my whole season of the challenge is, like, Cara Maria and Laurel drama. Like, I would rather them both get eliminated immediately than have to do that the entire season.
Still want Cara Maria on the show.
Yeah, shout out Cara Maria, friend of the show. We love you. We just don't like Laurel and don't want to see this beef the entire season.
Yeah, so yeah.
Nothing against Cara Maria here, everything against Laurel.
100%. But one last thing that I want to talk about. So in the episode, Johnny Bananas, he's wearing dog tags the entire time.
Oh, this was cringy as hell.
He was like, my dad, and they're in Vietnam. So,
yeah, the challenge this season takes place in Vietnam.
He's like, my dad fought in Vietnam. Now I'm fighting in Vietnam. It's like I'm doing this for him. I'm like,
we
the
like,
two don't compare.
We paused and we were like, not the same.
The two don't compare, my friend.
Like, yeah, my dad was a war veteran in Vietnam, and now I'm here partying and whoring it up and competing for $1 million in Vietnam. So I'm basically a war hero too. It's like, he obviously didn't say that, but like that was the vibe.
That was the vibe.
It was like, dude, shut up. I still love you, Bananas, but sometimes the stuff that comes out of your mouth is like the cringiest stuff I've ever heard. Like, just shut up, man.
And then he had said something about like Nurys and Horacio being in a relationship. He was in a relationship with Mariah.
Yeah, he's like
all saw how that
never
turned out.
works out. They missed out. I don't know if a call was put out to her and she like declined or whatever. But if they didn't try and cast Mariah on this season, that was a mistake. Because like you had a little tea for your reality from last season or 2 seasons ago. Mariah and Bananas got really close.
They started dating.
Then they started dating after the season was over.
Yeah.
And then Mariah was on last season. Bananas was not. And they were still dating. And then we watched it happen on national television that Mariah just decides to cheat on Bananas with with James, who was a competitor last season as well, and then kind of just doubled down on it the entire season. Like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I don't care.
And she never
And
told him. He
Never
found
told
out.
him. He found out from his friends that were
Going back to
on,
compete
on the challenge, and she kind of doubled down in the reunion too. Like, basically, like, yeah, I did that. Here, and
no remorse.
yeah, they
For
missed
cheating on your boyfriend on national television.
Yeah, I would have liked
Trashy
to
man.
see Mariah and Bananas be in the same house, and Bananas just make her life hell.
It'd be
But
great if James was there too, but James sucked.
James sucked, and he was boring to watch, and
Yeah,
nobody liked him except for Mariah.
He's not good TV.
But anything else from this episode?
I don't think so. But now with the challenge starting, and then Survivor starts on September 1st, I believe. So we'll get to double down on the two starting on the 1st. I think that's when it happens. I don't know. It's somewhere around there. But Thursdays, for surely on Thursdays, time hasn't been ironed out yet. We will be going live on and covering all things the challenge. And then once Survivor starts, we'll do the challenge and Survivor at the same time. We'll do like half and half. Gotta iron out the time specifically because work and life. But it will
Times may vary, but Thursday evenings, be ready to tune into AD Media and watch your challenge coverage. And then when Survivor starts, we'll be covering challenge and Survivor every Thursday evening. Time to be determined, but just tune in, follow AD Media so that you'll be updated on when the stream is going to be.
hit that little bell, subscribe, and it'll let you know when we go live.
Yeah. So I think